Hello, Jay.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Awesome.
Share up the screen here.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We haven't really chatted much at all this week, but I know you loaded up some decks. You sent me an email with them last night. I put a link in the chat below. I'm going to put it again. If you go to that link, you'll see some deck options that we're going to be looking at today. Looks like, let's see now, what was your homework? Did you have a
So I had two
homework?
decks for homework. Risen Reef and, of course, the 7/6 Dino. So anyway, I have sort of a partial answer on the Risen Reef. And the Risen Reef is probably where we might as well get started, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I've had I put a bunch of time trying to figure out where it worked, and I kept watching elemental decks explode, and my elemental decks died the same way. The theme's a little bit too weak to build around me, and it just loses to the key things in the format. But the neat thing was, Risen Reef by himself is a perfectly viable creature.
Right. We played Elvish Visionary pretty happily at 2 mana, so 1 mana more for all that upside seems fine.
Well,
seems
especially
great.
The fact he triggers on multiples, something you probably don't hit in limited, and there's some incidental elementals you occasionally get, which also are pretty awesome. So I built a version of basically, it's an adapt and evolve / mana ramp style deck, but it seemed to be the place that it fit most naturally. Now, with that said, I would like to continue working with it next week because I have a very wild idea that I don't even want to bring up, but it's crazy and it may work.
You don't even want to bring it up?
I
Teaser.
don't. I'm dealing monocolor to get the blue-green out.
Hmm.
That's how weird it is. It may have a chance of working. But anyway, for now, start off with, if you don't mind, the one that we...
I just posted that. I'll paste it again here just to keep it current.
Right.
But this is Brewing Optimal Reef Ramp, and we're going to pull it in. Guys are talking about judges and being professionals at events. I just, as an aside, have to tell a quick story about the worst behavior from a judge that I ever witnessed. Which, not that I've witnessed a ton, but like one of the things that's made me maddest that I've seen a judge do, because it was not that. They were judging a PTQ, or it was just, a serious competitive event for the players participating. We were all trying to get on the pro tour, right? We're taking this day very seriously. This judge accepts a bet to judge the entire day using his Elmo voice. And maybe people thought that was funny in the first round, but when you are playing to get to the pro tour and you call a judge and they come over and start bleating at you in Elmo speak, that's crossing a line. I was so mad. I was like, that is the least professional thing I've ever seen. Now, they're not, whatever, they're volunteers. So anyway, just that always sticks. That's one of those things that has stuck in my craw since I witnessed it. Like,
when did that happen?
When did that happen? That was...
How long ago?
Well, it had to have been 2011-ish, because it would have been me... I was competing in the tournament, and so it must have been pre-WotC. So 2010, 2011.
Just so folks know, I was the senior judge in the Seattle area for a very short while, and the TO after that. And anyway, it shouldn't happen. What's interesting is it would make a great story for the judges have some internal lists where, they tell basically anecdotal stories that have useful lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a great story for that.
Yeah, good. I'll write it up and you can share it with them. Please remember that this is a serious event for the players, and they're very stressed and tense, and making games of your judging is not great.
Well, I mean,
Anyway.
you're right. I mean, that's the thing, and that's why they do post these. And most judges do take things shockingly seriously for a volunteer activity.
Yep. Hey, look at this. We got a pretty good collection on this old paid account, don't we? You got to just
That's not bad.
2 uncommons and we finish the deck. I'm in. So this is what do we call this?
I was calling it Reef Ramp.
Reef Ramp. Okay. Oops, that is not the right place. Everybody's interested in also. So do you feel like we do some fun stuff and you have some fun decks, but do you consider this like metagame challenge worthy? Like this is
not right now. It's too vulnerable to red.
Okay, yeah, you were saying that. Sorry, I was distracted on multiple fronts.
No, it's so that's there's a couple of things that different decks, of course, have different purposes. This one is perfectly fine, to play if you're in a format that's 30% or less red, but right now the format's at least 30%.
Yeah, so Wujo says, I don't think there's a lot of red in the meta right now. Give me a percentage, Wujo. What do you think? Jay has said he thinks it's about 30. What do you think red is? Watch us see a mountain. I think it's like, there's definitely a lot of red. It's probably above 20. I don't know if it's all the way to 30, but oh, best of 3. Yeah, I don't really play much best of 3, so
right.
maybe that's
we're
that's
talking,
my problem.
Or at least I was referring to the singleton.
Gotcha.
And the other reason that these mana ramp decks have issues is you have to have an elf. They almost don't work if you don't have starting hand an elf of some sort. Paradise Druid being perfectly fine, of course.
Right. Yeah, this hand looks great with that. You see, I guess we need green, but we could play. This gives us multiple with the Sun Petal follow-up. Anything we should be thinking about specifically here? So far, it's playing out like
right now. It's playing out according to the book.
Yeah, just like Simic.
Yeah, I mean, I would drop
ramp
out and be ready to counter for the next turn, just because. Wow, just gets better and better.
Yeah, that's nice. We telegraph the Mystic to an extent with playing the land for life and then passing, but...
So what?
So what? What are you going to do? Not cast spells? Go for it.
Mm-hmm. When the next turn, you've got some pretty strong potentiality there. I mean, you've got anything from Nissa or the creature. Probably Nissa, but...
Oh man, 85 says the survey was way long and had multiple issues from a research design perspective, but at least they try. Agreed. I actually wrote up a pretty substantial feedback document on that. One thing that kind of got to me about the survey, for those of you who just did it, is that they ask all these questions that are clearly trying to elicit like strong yeses from Spike, but they ask things like how important is psyching out your opponent to you, right? Because that sounds like a thing that that is very spiky or whatever, but like it's not important at all. Actually, I like if they had rephrased a lot of their spike-oriented stuff as outplay, outplay, outsmart, outmaneuver, instead of psych you out, mind game type questions, I think they'd get more of the expected responses from Spike. Yeah, right. Like the some of their questions made you feel like they were shaming you for being a Spike. Anyway, what do you like?
So you
here?
have an interesting choice here. So do you read Veto in Oppo? If you do, play Discordant. If not, play Nissa.
Well, let's go Discordant.
I don't know why, but I'm reading a Veto there.
Exactly. I really think they mishandled the spiky-oriented questions a lot of the time on that survey. But I gave them that feedback as well, and suggested that they change the wording to be more strategically oriented and not power move oriented, you know?
This isn't a fight you can win.
Okay. Constructed is so weird for me. Like, oh yeah, right. I have to figure out how to deal with guys like Teferi that I only see every once in a blue moon the way I play.
So you're going to want to obviously get the Nissa out, and you might want to try and do it where you force him to either gang block or you'll have mana left back for the Mystic, which means carefully tapping your mana.
Right, so we would need... we don't have... Oh, we need Garden for double green. Wait, how does Nissa...
So the Druid, you tap the Druid, and you
forest.
tap the hinterland, and you go from there.
Okay.
And then you play a harbor, and you tap it for a land.
Oh, we don't have a harbor, though, right?
In the hand, you've got Hello Fountain. Sorry.
Grove isn't a forest, so we tap that as well. Let's see. I'm losing my thread on the right tapping here, but I think it's got to be like
correct.
this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not a veto, apparently.
Not a veto. Well,
What do you like animating? I never know what to... I feel like I never know what to
so
animate.
In this case, we're
with
not
Nissa.
going to really try and get the thing out. So just animate anything that's not a forest, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah. No, that's often, I feel like, what you're supposed to do. Like, oh, no, we want to tap forest for double mana. So let's let's animate the non-forests, because they might die or be attacked or whatever.
Behold, nature's true power.
So swing it in.
And is Teferi the target?
Teferi's the target.
Oh,
You don't necessarily want to do the 1/1s. But...
Yeah, no, they're gonna... Let's keep them around.
And you get another Druid out. We're pretty certain that there's no mass removal here because they've been using targeted removal, and the deck doesn't have room for both.
It's amazing how much of a different game it feels like to me, constructed versus limited, in terms of the things you're thinking about and the patterns you're looking for and the expectations you have of what might be coming from your opponent's deck, all that stuff.
The other interesting thing is we know this opponent is playing some rogue spells. Playing the Varashka's Contempt is a little out of canon.
For Esper control at this point?
For Esper Hero.
Esper Hero.
It's not a bad
Yeah,
play,
but it's like you want to remove. You're trying to remove with multicolored, right?
Yeah, I mean it's not a terrible choice. I'm just commenting that it's a little out of book.
Sure. Yeah, Commander is a completely different game. I think Commander is so funny to me because Magic is such a challenging mental hurdle. Getting people over the obstacle of the deep gameplay and getting their head around even what's going on is such a challenge as you're trying to teach somebody this game. And then yet, the most popular bar none casual format in the world is also the most complicated way to play Magic in the world. We're in trouble now, though, right? They know about our Mystic.
We're in a little bit of trouble.
They've got this active Teferi. We can't really pressure it without just trading off for 1/1s. And they know about our counterspell such that we're probably going to play that at the end of their turn no matter what.
Right. We missed the chance to play it earlier on, which might have been relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we should have. Is that something to be thinking about? Like, I was kind of chatting there, so I just kind of
Yeah,
passed
it was
the
when
turn.
you were chatting that, and it was a challenging play. I wasn't 100% sure if it was right or not. I think it was. I mean, at the time, I thought it was. It's
to
not
untap and not do it.
to just drop it out.
To
Both
just
of
drop it out.
them, just to have dropped it, because of the way they were playing and because this deck is so dependent on its planeswalkers.
Sure. And unsurprisingly, while distracted, I defaulted to greed.
Keep up the pace.
But we're also a top deck away, and there's plenty of them.
What's our number one top deck right now? Just a Mystic? Or, sorry, a Crisis?
Yeah.
Do you think... Are we going to get countered, though?
Oh, that was a nice top deck.
Yeah, I should have played this Fountain last turn, speaking of distraction, but not like life total matters super much here. We can start here. And...
Whoa.
No? What do you want to do?
Okay, you still got 4 afterwards. Okay.
Oh, yeah, to make sure we can counter the counter.
Exactly.
Yeah. It looks like we're good.
Although I guess they're going to do a veto they'd have anyway, so it's sort of probably
right.
Stand by and watch.
And we can send up Teferi or Hero.
I would send up the Hero.
Yeah. And then send it to Teferi? I mean, resetting Teferi doesn't suck.
We
can cast counter on the way back down?
Teferi doesn't send the other one
Oh,
up.
right. Sorry, I don't know my cards again. Remember, I'm playing constructed.
Right.
So just Hero
I
or
would
token?
Or send up a token.
Token.
Send up a token, see what you buy.
Might be a bad idea.
Chat's like eye rolling. My constructed chops here.
You can hold for one more turn before you have to swing.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
Oddly, a Reef would have been a nice top deck.
Jellyfish Hydra Beast isn't an elemental. What are the key elementals that are triggering the Reef?
In this case, it's just Reef by itself. That was part of why I like the deck so much. Because it just illustrated the pure strength of the card by itself.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, chat. I see it's hard. It's hard. Hard to chat. Hard to stream, but now I'm chatting with Jay as well. Distractions abound. But thankfully we're just in the play queue. Also my play slips tremendously when the only thing on the line is rank. But hopefully it's not too annoying when I casually punt. Yeah, I blame you, Jay. Maybe it looks like a genius, and you're like, dang it!
Punting, why didn't we counter the? Oh,
Interesting.
Not sure if that's enough. Fairy is gonna go large, so we're not gonna really.
Here we go.
It's a shame.
Now they can't counter it, at least, right? And then
sure, but Teferi is still going huge.
Going off.
Yeah.
Well,
we're not going to pull out of that. Well, probably. Yeah, we're not going to pull out.
We'll give it one turn to try anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a big mistake to not try that counter.
Not to counter the 2/3. We're going to drop the thing anyway.
If it's totally useless to continue, I'll scoop. I don't want to waste anybody's time with the games that are over. But I kind of just like Shalai. But let's make him do it. At least, all right.
I'm sorry.
And we do have Shalai. They need to start here, right?
They have to start there, but.
And if they don't have card draw, maybe that's all right. Maybe I should have just played the Mystic again.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
That's more like it.
That's more like it. Attack all, get big, hope it's enough.
Attack all, pump the team, hope for something.
I mean, beating an Teferi emblem would be cool. That's my kitty.
It incredibly rarely happens. You want to drop out of land.
I suppose that's how it was meant to happen.
Yeah, this is just way too far behind, isn't it? They just do anything here. I mean, if they got 4 lands, we have a chance.
That's about
I
what
say
it
that
would
a
take.
lot. But it is where you start, right? Like, you know, if you want to learn how to make a plan or to assess whether or not you even have any chance whatsoever, you start by assuming everything the opponent has and everything they're going to draw is blank, is useless, and then you imagine stacking your deck. Like, that's the place to start in terms of building a plan in a tough situation. But that's just enough for me.
You'll thank me. We need to move quickly.
We need to concede quickly.
Yes. Well, give
All right.
it one more. I'd like to.
Oh yeah, let me see. Let me try it again, and I'll try to play a little more competently. I can't guarantee it, but I can guarantee I will try.
We can swap over to red decks next. The current.
I can play those. Oh, I'm so good at red decks. Actually, I play them so much online. I actually do think I have learned them pretty well, and enjoy finding tricky victories with red that seem a little bit out of reach. Well, this looks good. Oh no, no green.
No, it's tricky.
No
this
green.
one is.
We go
you're
first.
playing First. Oh.
I'm snap mulliganing that. We're not doing enough there. And it's
That's
London
fine.
mulligan. It's easy.
Absolutely.
Pool tapped. Gonna get our Teferi stolen here. I like to prepare myself for the most emotionally painful thing that can happen, so that when it does, it's like, yeah, I called it. I called that pain. And then when it's not, you're like, yay, they're just discovering.
So this means they're probably Esper control.
Well, that's a bummer, but we can Teferi in plus, and at least
Hopefully
have
hit a
a...
land.
You'll thank me later.
Well, if we can... If we can...
You can do
just want
zero.
to draw.
You can do zero. You've
Should
got
we
to
just
hit
draw?
a land.
Okay.
Yeah, you need a draw. You've got to get
We're
a land.
control. We got to find land, true. So we do this,
Submit
and
zero.
then...
Oh, no, no, no.
What?
You could have submitted zero.
Could I have?
Yes, you don't need. It's up to 1.
But where did it say submit?
It was on. It was there. I promise.
Oops. I thought it was going to give me the May, because what I'm used to from the system is saying decline or do. I was expecting to get a decline or do it message after I clicked. My bad. I'm trying to increase our degree of difficulty for needlessly, but Oppo's having
Let's
trouble
try
too,
this.
for different reasons.
You just didn't want to play Shahala.
Yeah, I didn't want to counter that God Eternal. That would have been too easy.
It would have.
What's that?
It would have made life way too easy.
But we can... I kind of like plussing, casting Shalai, chumping if we need to, then bouncing and having Mystic. I don't know. Is that too complicated? Are we not going to get there on that?
I think I would just plus and
And we got a plus,
counter.
I've got it.
plus and hold back.
Plus hold back counter and get big Teferi out.
All right, yeah, well, Little Teferi's dead then.
Yeah.
But we do get to counter whatever they try. Well, I guess we'll find out if they really want to Tef, because they don't bother paying the bargain price for that spell. That's a pretty clear signal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, if they're Grixis, how are they Teffing? Maybe they're not. But regardless, we'll Mystic whatever they do.
Well, they're probably going to hold back the counter at this point. Probably.
So then we'll have that choice again, but this time maybe drop the Mystic, although it's not like it attacks into that.
Score. That made life easy.
Hey, look, everybody! Our opponent cast a spell, and I used my spell that you use in response to such things. And I'm going to click the take action button and not the decline.
You're just wishing it said interrupt. How else were you supposed to know? I think you're correct.
They couldn't because of Tef. Good call.
Because of Tef. There's an amazing number of things that Tef does that are really annoying rules details. Nice top deck, though.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, absolutely. Get rid of the god.
You go away, and we'll try and find a counter spell for you.
I still wish you'd draw some of the reefs. The whole purpose behind this is to show off how the reef works. Part of the reason that it's so cool in this deck is you have Baby Tef.
Just
you can
replay.
Bounce it and replay it.
I was going to say that about Frilled Mystic. Have you bounced Frilled Mystic at all?
Absolutely.
Boy, if I do ever get on something like Twitch Rivals or whatever, I'm going to have to learn to play Constructed with more competency than Mono Red.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
Well, at least at this point we know they are. They're one of the bolus control builds.
I wouldn't think they would, Fiddle, since they don't enter the battlefield.
They don't.
All right, we got options here. Do you like Nissa into a massive Krasis or just Krasis while shields are kind of down? I don't think...
So shields are down, but it doesn't really matter for the Kraxis. I would get the Nissa out.
Okay.
Get the Nissa out. That way you can truly get a massive one. Actually, any of your spells suddenly go massive. Well, can you do that?
Well, I just wanted to tap Druid for mana for Nissa.
I was thinking you were hitting adapt.
Totally within my range, to be sure. Do we want... Let's see, these are not... This is the only forest we have anyway. Let's save that. I don't know if it matters, but I think it's a good habit, at least, to leave your forests up when you cast a Nissa if you can.
Power surges through these lands.
And let's throw this on a grove.
The land fights for us.
We could make a 1/1 Krasis.
Better would have been to hit with both.
Oh, yeah, sure. Shut up. I'm good at magic. Everybody tells me so.
It's okay. There's nobody watching. It's just
nobody
us.
watching. Just me and Jay hanging out. Don't play like me at home, folks. Do better.
My strength fades.
See, I just like to show you how to win through eternal punts. This is a pretty good spot, right? I mean, we have this. We have the Frilled Mystic for Kefnet. At least they don't know about it explicitly. So let's start with an attack.
Well, you're going to be... They are going to know about it, but there's not much they can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, we have board advantage, so they've got to cast something. Maybe it's not the god, but
It's a god.
it's something. I will choose to take the action. Not many watching, that's for sure. Look, that's also because I need the all attack button or I'm lost.
So playing Shahela is not a bad plan.
Yeah, it just says this is the only thing you can get to.
Hmm. They may have global removal. That's okay. You still got lots of gas after that. And if they don't, you're just ending it. Whew, worst global removal ever.
Yeah, that was not the best. We're done with druids, though. And
Nice top deck. And we'll play out your...
you like Discordant? Just make it big. Then
Discordant, make it big.
Shalai can get through.
Actually, they both get through.
All right, that's true.
And
Forced trade.
And, right. And Nicol Bolas chump, or, well, trades.
Trades, yeah. It's still pretty good, though.
Trades with junk. Hawk, I think the key is you need to play the level of Ryan.
Right. Bring it up to, grade D, and you'll get there.
Okay, I can't do much if you don't draw a reef to show reef working in a deck.
It's going to happen this time. We're going to do it.
You've had 3 draws, and you do have 4 of them in there.
We'll mulligan if it doesn't have one, even if it's a great hand.
I mean, the key to reef was really just not to stress it, just to consider it a creature of the line.
See, we're also in gold. We can totally throw away... Oh, yeah, this doesn't have a reef.
It also actually was mulliganable. You have
Really?
To keep it.
I thought that was a great
Yes.
one.
You didn't have a mana accelerator. You've got to have an elf. This deck without an elf is so awful.
All right, well, we'll try this one. Which is the least important? Obviously, we need the elf, and I want little
I would
Tef.
get rid of Nissa, I think.
Yeah? Okay.
You've got plenty of kill conditions, and really that's all she is.
Is there anything that force taps? This is good. All right. We'll enter tapped here, but then everything else is good.
So if we had kept the first hand, this is already going to be pretty intense pressure. If we had kept the first hand, we never would have made it.
Plus, it didn't have... oh, man, you're doing that? That's bold.
No, that's actually pretty standard. This is...
Really? I don't feel that way at all. I mean, I play this deck a lot, and I changed how I played after watching Autumn take down the Mythic Championship, and they showed such incredible patience at making sure that the Curious Obsessioned creature was protected that I don't think they would have ever made this play.
What are they worried about on this turn?
Because maybe
In
they
this
know
case-
the colors better, but like a removal colored land and removal is, I guess, what I'm thinking.
Right, but there aren't any decks that start off with green, white, and then play something like a red shop.
All right, so Oppo is just better than me. That could be what's going
I
on
think
here
it's
as
just
well.
they know the metagame, and they're assuming that at this level they're not going to see anything too wild out of there.
I mean, you could be facing white. I guess people don't play it, but there's the. Would love to have punished them with exile tapped creature.
Interestingly, so they're gonna have to. You've got an interesting choice here.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, you don't have to play Teferi, and you might not even want to. Yeah, you might
Reef
want to
it?
play the Reef here first.
You just want me to finally play the darn reef.
Well,
Okay.
there is that.
I'm kidding.
Too,
No,
but, there's a reasonable chance they've got non-hard counters,
yeah. Also, I say
or
quite
they have
reasonable
a hard
chance they
counter.
do.
Either way, it was,
It was worth feeling that out.
right. I mean, you could have felt it out, but you didn't want to feel it out with the fairy, which hopefully is one of your outs.
And for those of you who are not familiar with the blue deck, like they play a lot of spell pierce type stuff too, so it could have, the pauses and stuff could have easily been something that stopped a planeswalker, but not a creature. That was why we did that.
Well, it's play or die here, so.
Okay, so anyway, let's see. We do this.
They're going to sacrifice their other one, I'm sure, to prevent it. And this is, of course, the issue.
Yep.
They're going to counter the ability.
This is why Mono Blue is a good deck. The Mono Blue I run has like a couple of essence captures.
We
but
were right on the Pierce.
We were totally right. Totally right. And we
It
get to pay
was the
too.
right choice. We played the only thing that drew the hard counter.
I am not going to sit this one out.
And it doesn't really matter. They're gonna whether we
It
you
doesn't
think
matter.
this or this, because really what's happening is we're killing
Pick the
this.
one with card power. Oh, no, they tapped out.
Oh right, they tapped out. Cool.
It's crazy.
Wow, it's actually maybe a bad sign. They're like, yeah, we can even tap out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're good. All right. Teferi can come down, and well, let's see what they do here. Yeah, they got plenty of protection now. Big trouble. Big trouble. I think we're just dead.
You don't have a choice. You have to play it and hope that Oppo finds another way to lose it.
I was kind of hoping they would just hard counter it and then we could scoop.
I won't hide from the world any
But let's
longer.
see. Go
Hit the 5-4
and fail.
and fail. You're going to fail anyway. So.
Yeah.
They,
Ooh, failing with a dive down means that, yeah, they just have too much here. We're never,
you're not going to
never stopping it.
Yeah.
This is, I think I like the blue deck even better. Blue and red both have great play for them for grinding quickly. So we've talked plenty about red decks, but anybody out there who is free to play limited leaning and doesn't have a mono blue deck for grinding is missing out. That's a great grind deck. But we got to be careful. Blue and red. Well, it doesn't matter on this one because it's the paid. But if this were my free-to-play account and I were trying to grind to my wins for the day, I would be looking to play something not blue or red.
Go ahead and pull in one of the red decks, the mono reds,
Sure.
for a second. One of the things
let's
that I haven't noticed the mono blues doing yet, but it seems like on Arena at least they should be playing a full suite of the 1/1 prot red sacrifice to counter a targeted spell.
Yeah, the new the Drake or the old Drake.
The old
is it a
Drake.
reprint?
Yeah, it's a wrecking ball against a lot of red decks.
Okay, Optimal Sly sounds like what we're talking about.
That sounds good. Go ahead and pull that out.
This is the deck we're now looking at, folks. We're about to, anyway.
Thank you. Cerulean Drake. I suspect that's going to make a strong appearance. So this is very, very volt heavy. Yeah, you're missing a couple of Chandras. It nicely illustrates how strong the small Chandra is, though. Whew.
I wanted to comment, like, in your Goblin deck last week, you had 3 Voids in, but were playing 3 or 4 Chain Whirlers, and I found that to be unacceptable. I cut all the Voids and put all mountains in.
There are no chain wielders in here. I feel like
Yes.
they're too slow in the current metagame.
Well, this is, but that was what I was looking for. It's like, oh, he's got voids back in again, but I'm going to push back if there's chain whirlers. And then I didn't see him, and it's like, okay, no, that's fine. Looks like Blackadder wonders why no Chandra's Spitfire. Did you consider that here?
Honestly, again, too slow. It's a 3-drop.
I agree. Like it just, it's highly synergistic, but it's a 3-mana, 1-power creature that is going to.
This deck is frighteningly close. So, Rob, I can't find a way to improve it at 60 in this particular case. This is a deck I've been tweaking, and I can't find a card that the deck gets improved by removing.
Well,
every single one I found weakens the deck.
So, okay, well, what if the minimum number of cards that had to be in your deck in Magic was 50,
No, I can cut.
was
I can
55?
Sure, I can cut cards. I'm just saying that there is no 60 build that exists that's better than this 61, in my opinion.
I think you don't know, but my point of asking
I can't find. I'm saying I could cut cards, but the problem is you're just going to weaken the deck by pulling one of the cards that I say to pull.
You
so
think?
If I said, well, I mean, I can say, okay, well, we need to pull down to 55, so we need to cut 6. So the obvious instinct is to cut the 2 dives and maybe one each of, and probably one of the Chandra or Experimental Frenzies and a Bolt and...
See, watch, it's easy.
No. Well, that's the thing, Wujo. You're not right. I'm not making it more consistent. That's where there's a mistake. It's not more consistent because I'm looking for an overall pattern. I'm not looking for specific cards.
That's Stephen Hacking is saying what I think you're trying to say, Jay, which is that ratios matter as much as content.
Right. There's. I mean, I knew we were going to have this discussion, so I really looked to see what could I pull here, because Ryan's going to wreck my deck at the start, first thing, like he always does, and pull something.
Fine,
so what
fine.
am I going to tell him to pull?
We'll start with your 61, but I push back and say that I feel like it's still a cop-out, that like...
It's not a cop-out. I can't find a version, and it's not there's that many cards to look at to consider.
But I'm saying if suddenly the minimum was 40,
right,
you would take your 61 and start making cuts. What's the first card you would cut? That's got to be it.
No,
right?
So no, it doesn't, because all that does is say I can pull a card. If I have to pull down to 40, I have a really good reason and consistency.
I said 40 to make it extreme, but maybe the thing to do is make it extreme in the other way. If 59 cards was the maximum, what would you cut? Would you be like, no, it's perfect at 61? If I had to
pull 2, then I can pull a land and another card, and I would pull a bolt. But I don't want to mess up my mana ratio either. And that's,
I think that's the cop out. Come on, your ratio. You're telling me that you've looked at the hypergeometric math of the curve. Now, of anybody in the world it would be you.
What I am saying is that I've played this particular build and this specific mana curve probably 1,000 times.
But we could look at the math, right? We could look at the hypergeometric calculator and say this deck construction gives you these mana percentages on these turns. Taking away one land does this. Taking away one spell does this, right? And then we could look at those numbers, and that's where I would challenge you and say,
absolutely.
Are you serious that you're going to tell me that because at 61 our chances of whatever lands on turn 4 is 0.5% difference that you've nailed it? Like, I just feel like because I feel like a lot of the reasons you give for accepting 61 I can use against you when I argue to chop it down, because it's like we just don't know.
The other point is we're arguing an incredible fraction.
Right. Well, so let me ask you this.
Cases. Your position is
I'll play while we argue.
Lower variance here. And Yes, I get that smaller decks have less variance in them. You're talking an incredibly small amount of variance, and that's certainly not worth weakening having the right number of any card in the deck.
So here's my Madman Quail. Do you know who Jay Schneider is? Like Jay designed the Sly deck, Paul Sly's successful tournament deck. Jay's had plenty of tournament success in his career, but that doesn't matter. Like we can't go around saying if you can't point to a resume, your opinion doesn't matter. We need to make our arguments and have a reasonable discussion about the merits therein. And so what I was going to push back again, though, Jay, and say is like, okay, I have this concept of the time traveling supercomputer, which is effectively whatever. Think of it like a being, an all powerful being that knows all possible decision trees in a game of Magic. And plays perfectly, makes perfect deck choices ahead of a tournament, and makes perfect plays throughout the tournament because they have Monte Carlo'd every single possible result in the universe, right? So we have perfect player. Perfect player. Say if you said okay, perfect player within the confines of mono red standard deck, make the best win percentage deck for whatever for what we're doing for this thing. Do you think there's a world in which that perfect being comes up with a 61 card deck?
I am certain they do, and I think they do about a third of the time.
Okay, so I'm glad I asked it that way, because that's fundamentally, I think, an important point that you're trying to make then.
Yeah, I believe that about a third of the time, 61 cards is better than 60 for a given deck design.
Yeah. All right. So we're about to go off here. Let's. Go.
Anyway, yeah, you should kill Oppo. We are torturing them. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
It's all good. Like,
all good. He Oppo. Whoa. Wait! Don't play the land.
Well, we're not going to get to. Well, yeah, we can light up the stage now. Sure. Sorry.
Light first. Play the land.
It's
off they're all the only thing you've got expensive in here. Are your extra card draws, and you get gas like this, and this is just be horrible.
And we have no haste, so I'm just going to get in with these, and then we'll finish off the turn after we attack.
That's a solid turn 3.
You know, you can have some turn 3s and you can have some turn 3s.
I blame my conservative card choice not finishing Oppo here, but
I bet if we were a 60 card deck, we'd win this turn.
If you took out one of the Daredevils, maybe.
Yeah, good turn 3 from Oppo too. Really put a recovery plan in place for themselves. Thing is, they can't do mass removal now, or else we just get our dudes back. So at least I'm not afraid of that.
Mm-hmm. And that always works. You're going to have to hit Shahalo with it.
Yeah, and we need to attack first in order for her to die. So
correct.
So it goes. We can play. We can't. If we had an X4 mana, I would play Daredevil to get Kin up to 2, but that's not going to happen either. So we're suiciding the Kin into the detention, or this whatever.
Instant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. After blocks, we can cast a Lightning Strike, so it still works. Cool. I'm feeling like a D-list player here right now. Man. I think, yeah. Maybe it's I'm like I play most of my constructed off stream and most of my limited on. So maybe like part of it is just like not being used to the level of distraction it takes to play constructed while streaming and talking and all that stuff.
There
but
we
this
go.
looks good. I think we just got there.
I feel like this deck is a little, I don't know what quite the term is, blunt for my taste. It really does smack often of just a bolt deck.
Well, yeah, it does have, 12 bolts
All
in
of
it, right? So when you have a deck with 12 bolts, turns out it's pretty blunt. But I like it. But I want to show you. I'll show you my.
Well, I did. You mind playing one more with
Sure.
New Slung? I'd like you to see Chandra in action because
Okay.
since you haven't bought them, you haven't played with them and seen how truly wonderful they are.
There's a Chandra. All right. Dire Fleet Daredevil.
It's the slow card in the deck.
No, I mean I like it. I was musing about it because I've been thinking about it a lot in terms of actually more eternal stuff. Like if it's gonna, I wonder where this card's gonna be in 5 years. Like what decks it's gonna be in.
I see your note about Chandra, and I was hoping it got fixed in Thursday's patch. So this is something to be aware of. The Chandra's quote ultimate doesn't pull things out.
Okay. Let's see. Probably Void here.
No. You want to do this very carefully. You want to play a mountain, swing with the haste person because you need to be able to skewer the other.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I was just looking at optimizing our own curve out and not really worrying about the walker. But as
Don't worry about the walker.
The walker's about the most important card to bring down in the match. You
can race it in this deck, but you don't want to if you don't have to, and
Yeah.
you don't have to.
Good call. Almost screwed that one up. And yes, we 2-for-1'd ourselves, but that thing, if you explore even once, you've eliminated one of our spells. You do it again, you've done another one. So yeah.
So play Chandra first.
Yeah.
Here.
What, Wizard's Lightning? What do we got? That's a wizard. Sure. Let's keep our lightning, right?
Mm-hmm. And now
Pyromancer
the damage.
extraordinaire.
The two elementals.
2 elementals.
Yeah. 2 elementals is generally what you're going to run this for. Wujo was mentioning, and at least was correct as of Thursday when I last played it before the patch, that you can't play spectacle costs like you should with the ultimate. So you're going to have to pay rebuild.
Training is so hard.
Yes. I think we missed 2, right? Or no, we missed 1 damage there. Good point. We could have just firebranded their face to get the spectacle to kill the blocker and then attack.
That's a good point. Yes, thank you.
Kin here, though, looks nice.
Yeah,
now, do we have... Yeah, go to the face, and then we get 2/2 there.
Wait.
You don't like that?
I would hold it for a minute. They're playing creatures. Play the 1/1.
Yeah, that's fair. They're playing creatures.
Also, it increases your total damage over time slightly because you're going to probably...
Same damage this turn, more damage next turn, maybe?
Probably. Oh, that's nice.
Will it do that right? Yeah.
They might have... Just be warned, they might have a creature counter, but that's okay. You can lightning it afterwards.
All right. Yeah, I want to do this to get the kin bigger.
Yeah, it's worth it just for the extra damage. They're thinking about countering it. Skeptical, that was actually a good thought as well.
What's that?
Attacking first to draw the snake. See if you can sucker their snake out.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what they're up to, but now we can attack and even decide to lightning face at the end of the attack sequence if...
Yeah, let's see what they do.
I guess we just say goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Now you might want to bolt.
Yeah, let's go face, get a little extra damage in. And we can contempt if we get more mana. We need a lot more, though. Woof. Interesting choice. I guess they're doing that to go...
the right choice.
Yeah, to do that.
They can play
sure,
right
sure.
now. And it also kills other people.
Yeah, great choice. Perfect choice.
They don't have a lot of choice but to kill the...
Taker. They get block and kill, take no damage, but that's the world we live in. If the rest of their cards are blanks, we totally win this. That's going to be rough for us. Now we need to get to basically contempt mana. This where if I'm
you need experimental the next turn.
Yeah, and if I were yeah, I probably already scooped by now if I'm simply trying to grind my way to finish my daily requirements. Because when I'm in that mode, I just want to get a win as quickly as possible, and if it looks like I'll give up 30% equity in a game if it looks like to capitalize on the 30%, it's going to take another 10 minutes anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've had enough here on that
Sure.
philosophy.
Let's go ahead and see the goblin deck that you put together for constructed.
Yeah, it's not tuned.
I'd love to see it.
Not tuned yet, and I've been playing around with it. I basically played with it all week when I was doing grinding.
Awesome.
And I called it. I think this is this. Yeah, I think
new deck. Sure.
so. Okay, this is a slightly older one. I think I want. I'll make the. So I was exploring. Like I like Ember Hauler as a goblin, and I like Chain Whirler, but neither of them get cheaper from the War Chief. And what so if we look at Goblin, this is not. Gablin is not how you spell that. The goblins that I was trying out to take more advantage of that included the Instigator, like Instigator, Go Wide, Trash Master type approach.
Have you played Siege Gang combo?
No, I have not. I've not gone up to 5 with
so
the
Siege Gang combo actually works in this.
Yeah. Okay. So let's
kind
adjust
of
it to
crazy. You have to stabilize the mana maybe a little bit. You might
How many
wanna,
Siege Gang?
You're playing a full set. If you're playing Siege Gang combo, you're playing Siege Gang combo.
Well, I didn't know if you meant like it's a top end you try and get to sometimes, or whether it's the main thrust.
Right now, we don't have a Goblin Matron to tutor for it, but I think I saw some pictures of it recently, so I suspect they might be reprinting it at some point.
Yeah, do you want? Is this a Prospector deck?
Prospector goes really well in this. It'll help you get to your Siege Gang because you're going to be running mana tight. That's the way you can keep the mana at the low 20s.
Mm-hmm. And all right, what's garbage here?
Nothing, but you're going to have to pull something. You can't pull the Whirler. It's too strong. The Legion War Boss. or the Crocus, because you're sort of switching how you're getting lots of goblins.
Or which one? The
God,
Cranko?
I hate to pull Cranko. I hate to pull Cranko. Let's focus it entirely on tokens, but not the War Chief tokens. So pull the War Chief.
All of it?
No, I'm sorry, not the War Chief.
It's like, yeah, I thought that was the point.
Wrong. You already pulled the other one.
Yeah, let me get into.
We're down. Oh, we're only one card from 60. So you could go with it as it is, or you can pull one of anything you'd like to.
Do you want? Is this so? The instigators are a bit okay. So instigator, I ended up swapping for.
They're a little random.
The one that I ended up liking for the cost reduction impact and made for some really interesting games too was Crater Maker. It's like, in a sense, worse than Hauler, but I had one game where I had 3 Crater Makers in my hand and got the War Chief out, and then on the following turn just went 3/2/2 haste and with mana up to activate, and they had no good blocks. They would block one of these guys, and then I would sack it and kill the thing that was going to eat the. It was great. Anyway, so there was not a ton of sample size, but I definitely at the end of the day liked this over.
In this case,
let me try this.
Maybe Norbert. I saw it was. It must have been. I saw it about a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. A new picture. Anyway, give this a whirl. See how it works.
Let's try this. We are a little reliant on this firebrand surviving, but we're going to go for it. Hey, Mike. Thanks for the raid. That's Mike Sigrist sending us some viewers. Appreciate that. For those of you coming in from Mike's stream, you've caught me playing some Constructed, which is a little unusual for this stream. We're mostly a limited stream from... for Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 Pacific. But then on Fridays, I bring in my friend Jay Schneider here. Many of you may have heard of the Sly deck, which is a deck that Jay here designed. And so we bring Jay on to talk Constructed on Friday afternoons and explore the current metagame on Arena, and we build some wacky stuff. We do some homework assignments for build-arounds, and we take a look at whatever the kind of Weekend Warrior offering is for for players. Yeah, this is good. We'll get a light trigger here. And we are right now playing with a Goblins deck. Mono red, but with a Goblin bent.
It's really a Siege Gang kill you combo deck in a lot of ways.
Ooh, well. Let's do that now. Thanks again for that raid, Mike. Appreciate it. Hope you had a great stream today. We get another... Light Up the Stage is bonkers good for red decks. It's just crazy.
You had a chance to drop the
right. I did. I got obsessed with lighting up the stage as soon as possible because I love this card so much.
Normally that would be correct, except you're a combo deck.
Except we're going for this, yeah.
Well, you're combo, and you just have to get into that mentality.
Sure. I'm going to see stage again, though. Do you do another one right now?
I think so.
All right. Why not? Oh, and also I got to give you my here.
To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal, light up a stage and wax a chump like a candle. Dance.
We do memes around here.
Madman, if they worked off of the ringleader, maybe. Right now they don't, and if we can find some way to bring them in, then it would be interesting to bring in the sorcery.
So I feel like we can't ignore the whirler value, although they're just going to play something at instant, and this isn't going to die. But it'll this can combine to kill it.
Mm-hmm. You can do it as an instant to sack and kill if needs to be. So this is that weird blue-green thing.
Now they could opt and still save it, but we're going to make them have it. If they do have it, we're in trouble. But we got some power. We got some power coming.
It would have been, there it is.
At least it was a syncopate, not an opt, so they didn't even get a card out of it.
Right. You have an interesting choice here, maybe? Yeah,
well, no, the War Chief doesn't lead to anything.
Oh, it doesn't. You're right.
So we just go Commander now, and then next turn War Chief does?
Next turn you can War Chief Ringleader. Not that that's a little bit of an combo.
This probably gets countered anyway, but we're just baiting that out. This deck seems fun. I haven't built it yet, but I like the Cutthroat in Standard. That seems like
it's
yeah, it
fun,
just does
but
this.
it's
right?
not quite strong enough. I gave it a test, and
it's so big. All right, well, we're gonna see if we can resolve this. Probably not. Looking like we're heading into a Mystic here, but gotta keep trying to cast our spells.
it looks to me like they have.
Hey, Tron, welcome back. Oh, and double D's too. I see what y'all are doing behind my back, watching quality content like Mike Sigrist. Okay, that landed, so let's throw down the ringleader.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, folks, we have an open relationship. Very poly streamer around here. I know we're taking 6, but this thing doesn't get bigger on their turn. And we could just go off here. Well, we need this to land. We'll see if it does. Unlikely, maybe, but... Hey, not so bad.
That's all sorts of good.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's close. But we need to leave some back to chump here.
You need to leave something back to chump. There's a reasonable possibility that the 4/4 instant Wolf Lord will come out.
It's 4, so at least we can shock and finish it.
It is, but
Okay.
it's going to be ugly.
It's going to be ugly, but we can't play around it too much. How many do we want to leave back? Just 1? No, 2 if we think there's a...
1 or 2, might as well. Yeah.
Well, if we think it's the 4/4, we're going to kill it.
I'd leave 2 just because I don't want to die.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking. It's the safer, it's the more conservative play, right?
Yeah, I don't want to die this turn. There's the wolf.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They don't know without our shock, so that makes sense, because they're thinking if we do this, then we can't kill them, but we get to instead do target creature. We'll throw this gobbo. Oh no, I screwed it up. No, I didn't. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I was like, I needed more damage, but we have the right amount of damage.
I think I'm happy at being 1 point down in order to have been safe from all sorts of jank they could have played.
Let's see. Can we get them? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 3 activations left over to finish them. They have to have nothing, but if they have nothing, we do get a win here, and we can even leave. Can we leave this back and still have the same damage, same lethal presented? 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe we do it this way: 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't matter. This is going to be 2 either way. But yeah, we can leave Firebrand back 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9. So technically, if they don't have anything, we will get there with this. It's highly unlikely, but it is our best chance. So
All good. Now, you might want to kill it before...
oh, wait, I missed that window. By the way, so to cut you off, Jay, like Jay was going to suggest, hey, you might want to destroy blockers, but the moment somebody does something on your attack step, the moment you click next, you're basically passing your priority. Like if you want to get that priority, Steven, before you click next, after your opponent casts something, you need to go into full control. And I think that's a bad, like, we're talking about the little things they need to do to get this client where we expect it to be. And I think one of them is adding the feature that if your opponent actually casts something during your attack step, then it starts to give you all of the stops. So, no, it's always been like this.
Sack the token to kill it.
Well, we can go...
I would...
if we sack this to kill it, they go 9, 8, 7, 6, and then we don't quite get them, huh?
I don't think we have enough to do it this way.
But we could have, yeah. If we had hit the full, if we had hit the full control, we would have been able to do it. So it's really too bad because, like, the Firebrand, we should have taken this out as a blocker, and then we could have found lethal. So, for competitive purposes, you can see how lethal would be acquired here, and it's really just a good lesson in understanding that aspect of this UI. It's really easy to feel like, okay, I'm going to click next, and then I'm going to have a window to do the thing, and then they don't give you the thing.
If you don't mind, in the interest of time, because at least I only have about 45 minutes, and there's 2 more decks I'd like to
let's
walk through with you.
Oh, yeah, maybe we even had it there. I'm sorry, like, if I did the math wrong or whatever, but we are also trying to get some variety in here, so we kind of saw how that game played out. And our main goal here is to touch on a lot of different decks and a lot of the homework that Jay did over the week. So what are we doing next?
If you don't mind, bring up the bolus with the
Regisar bolus?
7/6. Yeah, there's the new bolus deck that I had uploaded for you.
Yeah,
it's a very aggro bolus deck, and it was doing really well.
We're gonna do this deck next.
It's also a ton of fun. The Reticulator is just an amazing card. I was shocked at how good it was, just standalone. Someone mentioned the mono black deck that's playing it, and that's just an example. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of the Reticulator. It's a 7/6 is so big, no one can ignore it even for a turn or two. And of course, it just eats every planeswalker that it comes near.
If they are going to let me dig this grave, they got to give me better tools to dig out of it. 1 deck deletion at a time, if you're going to cap my decks, is at 60 is just like, cap it at 12 if you're going to only let me have 1 at a time, or give me tools to multi-delete. Anyway, we're going to import here. I replaced one Control C with another there. Sorry. Here we go.
So while we have the deck out, the knights are as amazing as you might think. They're actually partly in there for defense, which is kind of interesting.
Which one? This one? Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of weird. This is actually a control deck. It's just a control deck with plan B that it starts off with, which is looking like a high-speed aggro deck. And that's really just to buy you time to kill them with a nickel bolus.
Okay.
Sometimes they don't even, sometimes you just kill them before, and that's all right too.
Let's give it a shot. Let's call this... Bolas Regisar.
That's correct. The globes are there just to stabilize getting out the boluses, and it uses a lot of heavy mana.
Somebody asked about this shirt. I would say check lrcast.com or maybe I suppose whatever LR merch is available would be sold through channelfireball.com. But you may want to bug Marshall on Twitter directly and say, hey, I want to buy LR t-shirts. Where do I get them?
Oh, okay.
Yeah? What do you want to try?
That's good. No, you're good.
All right.
I thought you were about to hit play on the other deck.
Right. You do not have to have been a co-host of LR to get the shirt, but you do to get one of the sweet jackets Marshall gave me. Mainly, he just was exploring jacket merch and got some tests made, and I got some cool LR test jackets. I would totally buy an LR herb grinder, too. Oppo must be confused, because this looks like a vampire opening.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like here? We get a
Fetch
tap
red.
land.
Oh yeah, I'll put in the wilds and fetch
some
red
red.
in a minute.
Does it matter?
It might actually.
I obviously it is correct to crack this at the end of their turn. What I said earlier, in fact, regarding the evolving wilds I had in my limited deck was, I'm an old man. My EV for forgetting to crack this at the end of their turn is a much bigger concern to me than them knowing that I want a mountain. But I'll try it. I'm gonna try and cancel that. No attacks.
It's okay. That was a really nice bluff, though.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about it. There is a limited resources breakfast sandwich maker. It's the Hamilton Beach model. All right, you get it. I'm gonna wilds here before I forget. Come on. Hello. Did I freeze? There we go.
The UI's been a little laggy.
Yeah, I thought they fixed that. That was what I thought they were fixing today.
Speaking of gas, so you've got you got some interesting choices here.
Yeah, starting with a 7-6, which just kind of might beat them all on its own.
It can actually score. I look at him as like the touchdown dinosaur, because every time he hits, you score a touchdown. In more ways than one. Go for it. Just put him out. I want to show the card off, so let's show him off.
What are we discarding from this hand?
You're going to start with something too good. Maybe the land. Maybe you've got enough black.
Yeah, like this land actually doesn't help cast the
Doesn't
Firewheeler
help
anyway.
cast it, so let's dump the land.
It does help cast Nicol Bolas, though. But
it would have helped cast that, but you have other targets.
let's see what they want to do. Touchdown! Do we want to say? Well, I guess we can wait.
You
It's
can
red.
wait.
We can wait.
It's amazingly hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, because they're now countable.
To the
I
extreme,
don't
rock a
think
mic
you
like
want to go
vandal,
into a
light up
speed
stage and
race
watch it
with
jump like a
them,
candle.
but
Dance.
let's see what they get, and we'll know in a second. Yeah, you're going to need to kill it.
I think so.
It's sad. Because it is awfully tempting to...
The Steamkin's alive because it didn't matter, like, because we could still kill it, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
Get rid of the bolus.
Now should we just rampage? Oh no, we can't choose. Okay, so I like Dreadhorde Butcher swing.
I would have done the other way around, but oh yeah,
Well, I feel like if they want to block the Butcher, that's great.
that's true.
fine.
You do get through for another touchdown, and then they're rather concerned, legitimately. Oh wow!
Touchdown with an extra point.
You see, now
See what I
they're
did
really
there?
thinking about it. Isn't that amazing? Your second swing with a creature, and they're having to, instead of trading and avoiding a 2-for-1, they're going to take a 2-for-1 in order to chump block. That is so worth a card.
In the rock, scissors, paper that is Magic, this is really an extreme example of one of the, boy, this just destroys some decks.
It does.
Just
It's
destroys them. Like,
amazing.
what do I even do besides scoop against a
They can't
turn 3 7/6?
Both, or they lose.
Or I kind of want to just do the green black turn 2 7/6.
Yeah, and you win. No, you can't choose the target. You've got to...
2-point conversion. I love it. Yeah, we had a touchdown with a 2-point conversion there.
I think you get rid of the instant and hope that you draw a mountain.
Yeah, this isn't really doing anything for us, is it?
Yeah, it's just going to kill a random chump blocker, and there's the game.
Nice.
I'm glad I had a chance to see the way this deck works. It's kind of amazing, because this is Plan B you were doing.
Yeah.
Plan A is you play your suite of nickel boluses. Remember, it's the double suite. And
Nice.
that was what they call in football a blowout.
Yeah. Call a game. Call the game. 2 lightning strikes the turn it came down. Nice. So did you let him untap and discard and then get him? I was asking chat. You can say what you're going to say.
Oh, I was going to say, if you either play this one more time or switch into the rock deck, which also has some really interesting tech.
I'm going to switch to the rock deck simply because I think I have to get the dog to the vet at 3:30 and I don't want to push that too closely. So
let's get to the
let's
last
check
deck.
the last deck and then send everybody on their way.
So I learned a ton by building this rock deck. And building a rock is sort of this almost an exercise I do in every format. I don't think there's ever been a format where the rock didn't work. And I include some pretty ridiculous formats like High Tide.
Wait, I don't see is this a?
It's my rock tester that I put in there.
Oh, from last week.
No, I updated the old one.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's nothing new. It was a new deck. The deck is new, but a new deck was not added. Is the main
correct?
Thing.
I just updated the old one because the old one was very experimental.
So this is the deck we're going to play now.
Please.
This is new rock. What's a good? Give me a pun for a new rock. What's a new rock?
Brick.
The brick.
The brick.
The brick.
And you'll sort of see why in a moment. There's some builds that I was making that were even more aggressive. So what's amazing is it does an amazing job of getting the crowns of Dreadhorde, and it's actually using the Cavalier to recur them most of the time. And it's kind of incredible. It starts off with pressure, but control like the Rock always does. And then it just starts hitting with bigger and bigger things, and these Cavaliers are crazy good.
And you have in other decks used the higher toughness explorers, the both the 0-3 and the 1-2. In this case, you're using the 2-1.
I did.
Is it because the aggro happens enough that's what you want there? What are your thoughts there? I
changed part of it is it's the one of the additional aggro in this deck, and this one is far less vulnerable to red. I've been feeling pretty comfortable in this against red, so I wanted the extra aggro against control.
Okay.
It was a considered choice. Also, if you'll note, the Cavalier triple red is a little interesting at times.
And how about the Scrylands? They not good enough to make the cut, or you?
No, they probably were. I just don't have them yet.
Okay,
so I didn't really think in that direction.
You want all 4?
Just put in 2, please. Just pull a swamp and a forest for 2. I'd been thinking about doing something in that direction and hadn't gotten there.
Where
I know 2 is an improvement. I don't know that more will be.
Here. Oh, look, I already got them.
Skeptical, you're going to burn all your copies?
No kidding, right, Hat? As a red ladder player, I hate the Wild Growth Walker, but we're going to love it for one game at least. What did Walker do to me? Made me scoop a bunch of decks with my mono red. Scoop a bunch of games, that is.
It's not as strong, and one of the reasons I'm showing this deck is yesterday I went 7-2 with this deck in a tournament, and it felt really good.
Now, are you using? I really liked when I played this version. I played this version a little bit over the week, or the other version, and playing Massacre Girl instant speed was nice tech.
Mm-hmm. I don't have them in here, but
yeah, that's what I noticed.
This is still work in progress. There's a little bit of room to wiggle. I'm drawing a little bit more. I'm drawing a few too many Command the Dreadhordes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm oddly maybe drawing too many Duresses, and that almost sounds like heresy.
So we see a single island, which almost suggests mono blue. Like when I think of blue control decks, I think of the first land play as being a dual land. Should we be duressing now as opposed to
no?
Druid?
They're playing the instant deck probably.
Okay.
And you're always playing Druid here, especially with double duress.
Yeah, because we can double duress or
double duress, additional Druid.
Right.
No, they're playing blue-red.
Well, not bad for us. We get to play another Druid and double
you
duress.
Got the top deck.
Yeah, nice. All right, let's get to good stuff.
2 cards, no waiting.
Chart,
and probably the op.
Well, Shock does take out one of our dudes. We don't care.
So what?
Okay.
You've got to command the Dreadhorde in your hand. And you've got the Cavalier that is likely to... You've got enough green. You're going to either draw land or gas at this point.
Well, the other thing, now they're going to shock the Druid, and we might not have the Cavalier. So taking the opt would at least have given us, or taking the shock would have potentially protected our turn 4 Cavalier.
True.
But maybe you draw a land and it doesn't matter anyway.
That was sort of my assumption that you're going to top deck.
Oh, good call. Of course. Wouldn't have it any other way. I'm having. Oh, yes and no. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, and we're in the real top 5 land card. Okay. I didn't even know what that card fully did yet. It's a mythic.
Yeah,
that I
and
haven't.
note that it fills the graveyard too, which is awesome.
So I created this link that shows you kind of all the decks we've had recently, and you can adjust what I've had trouble with. If anybody can help me with the MTG Goldfish interface on this front, I'm open to
Before
suggestions.
you do anything, swing with the Cavalier.
Okay. If they both die, it's good for the command, right?
If they both die, you can command on the spot. As it is, now you're going to have to make a decision.
Let's see. At least gets the Phoenix out of their yard, but I don't think that's coming back anytime soon.
And you don't have enough in yours.
And we have just Druid and Elf. That's not a very impressive command. Anyway, I want to... So the link I just provided is going to be a good link for like immediately, because what it does is creates a filter that has like last 3 months, but it does it until the 12th. So now if we add more decks after today, they won't show up in that because it'll filter it to July 12th or whatever. I haven't figured out how to solve that problem yet and have a nice single link that takes you to all the Goldfish decks that we're using. Well, now they might just go for the win themselves and ignore
Swing
the
with Cavalier and see.
But we gotta hope they decide to chump one of them. And now we gotta hope that of their 6 impending cards, none of them is an instant or a sorcery.
A little better would have been probably to command out the Arclight, but neither here nor there.
Yeah, I guess command out the Arclight does give us an extra turn. So it was a mistake not to at least put that up there.
And that's going to be game.
Yeah.
So this is why I was glad to see you put the Scrylands in.
Mm-hmm.
Because this has been the number one way this deck has been failing. A little bit too much mana coming in.
Let's give it another shot here. Looks fine.
Mm-hmm.
Accelerate.
Mm-hmm.
Now they need to put something cool on it and protect it, or we're gonna knock it down with the Chupacabra. Ah, interesting. It's just straight Merfolk. I see turn 1 Herald. I just assume mono blue tempo, but we're Merfolk.
Yeah, I think you want to play Walker and
Branch Walker
Merfolk here. Just build your ground game and get ahead on the life race.
Sure. If they don't kill the Walker, Ranger
kill,
is just
actually.
Yeah, I know, but like you never know what some person's going to insert into their weirdo deck. But yes, Merfolk is not looking to reach out and strike your creatures generally.
Yeah, they're playing Merfolk combo, and the Chupacabra is going to help with that. Not to mention, we'll just out.
We need to do this now, you think, or should we just? I think
Not
it's
yet.
just
No, just
yeah,
build.
we just
Build,
pile on,
get
right?
life. Yeah, you need to land anyway. Oh yeah, graveyard and what land?
There we go. That's what we're looking for. Are we blocking or attacking? We're at 23.
Ground, you're attacking, but not with the elf.
Yeah.
The 3/2 is fine to attack with.
Yeah, that's okay, but not this dude, right?
Not
It's a race.
I found the Chupacabra's gotten really good again in the format.
What kinds of things is it taking out that you think
Well,
are...
it's more of what it's dodging. it's removal that doesn't get vetoed or other silly nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of spell hate right now.
And it's a body, so it comes back with Command the Dread Horde, which is handy too.
Yeah, Baby Teferi is another good reason for Chupacabra. Six total mana. Do you want more Ranger?
I think all roads. I always have a problem when there's all the ways look like they win.
Right. I'm with you because you want to take the 98%er, not the 97%er, but it's hard to see.
Those are hard to figure out. I mean, just play the Cavalier because it's fun.
Okay, I'll do that with land.
Besides, that's the best Explore card ever.
Now we're good on land, and we'll take trades for these, right?
Yeah, swing with the
So
team.
go for it.
You could have put the elf in if you'd wanted.
Oh yeah, the good point. I didn't really think about that. I mean, it turned out to be we did the right that we played around it without talking about it, but the Walker had lost its ability for the turn because of the Merfolk Trickster. So waiting until the Walker actually gains some life again is probably correct for that anyway. Plus now we get Choop and Ranger. Oppo's kind of going off, but we got some tools here. No, nothing to duress. Let's start with this.
Mm-hmm.
Are we in anything will do territory? I mean, that is more life.
That's fine. Either way.
I'm going to say graveyard. Because if we can get to a Dread Horde, I like stalking the graveyard for it.
The other nice thing is that lets you swing with elf. Play the Chupacabra. Kill one of their grow people. Might as well.
Can even attack with that one if we want.
Yeah, attack with it.
Yeah, all right. Just making sure. Usually it's like attack with the big stuff, pull the little guy back, but in this case we can send it all.
They can't kill the Cavalier even if they wanted to.
Hat wants to play conservative and just keep the Chupacabra in hand for worst case scenarios. I think there's some reason to that. In fact, that's exactly what Hat called out is the one to try and get.
You're great, Hat.
But it didn't matter. Still not enough.
Anyway, I found that to be a really interesting build, and it does very well in the metagame. It still needs some tweaks, but it has a lot of strength behind it and potential.
Right on. All right, Jay, I'm going to go, let's see, let's open some packs while we're here. People like packs. And then, but we can say goodbye as we're wrapping up.
Quick question. So next week, aside from working on some more competitive things, I'm also working on the elemental base deck. Anything else people want me to look at?
Is there, what we should look for is if there's any weekend
what's the
special
next format,
special formats?
If someone has a link to the calendar handy.
Yeah, we'll go look at that here. Oh no, wait, it's here. Event calendar. I'm taking a look here. We're looking at July. It says until, but it doesn't say when it starts. Let's see.
There's a visual calendar that shows everything.
Yeah, where's that? So how do I get to it?
I usually do a search and struggle.
Right. MTGArena calendar.
Yeah. There it is.
One of these two, probably.
And you can filter it by format.
Ah, thank goodness. What we're looking at, by the way, here, I'll link it to you in chat, is this. This is the calendar of events, and we can look. God, except we're.
Filter by arena only.
Oh, it's literally all of Magic. I see.
Yes, there you go.
MTGArena, much easier to parse. Okay, so next week we are looking at Ranked Draft Core Set 2020 is coming online on Friday, and no, it's just competitive metagame challenge for this weekend. Do you have any thoughts on? I don't know even what that means really. Like you,
I do. So
okay,
this is a format that encourages people to go deep. Just playing one is, just winning one or two and then dropping, and losing one because it's single elimination. But if you can go 7-0, they're giving you basically a box, maybe two. It's like 50 packs for 7.
So super spiky payouts.
Super spiky payouts. But because they're super spiky, you want to play something that can go the distance. I suspect there'll be a lot of red, but I don't think there is a lot of red. That red's a good choice because red's going to win you a couple of games, and then it won't go the rest of the way.
Right, because it's best of 3. People are going to be prepared.
This is part of why I was looking at that rock deck, because I suspect the tweaked version of that might be able to go the distance. Or maybe the bolus deck, although the bolus deck also has variants. You've got to be able to beat the control that I think you're going to see a lot of. It should be the net decks that went 5-0, and people will go from there. It's a tough choice to go with. If you do play red, I would recommend going with the slide deck that I listed. It's a little bit advantaged against most of the red decks you see. And, of course, it still has the punch. It's certainly a good choice if you just want to win like 2 or 3. If you don't mind, since you're on the page, go to they show you the prize payout. Not on that page, I mean on the arena one.
Oh, on the arena one, sure.
Go on arena, go to home, and then click on competitive metagame challenge. And you can see the payout. 30 packs.
30 packs for 7 wins, 20 packs for 6, 10 packs for 5. So yeah, they just 5, 6, 7 is where it's at.
Absolutely. You need to try and get 4 wins to get huge payouts. And it's only 2,000 gold.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to go really 4-0, which means a fairly stable deck.
Yeah, 7 wins is super tough. Like we've looked at, if I look at the odds of getting 7 wins when you have 2 fouls to give, when you can lose twice, I can look that up because we have that pretty easily in our spreadsheet. So let me just do that real quick. Yeah, when you're playing win 3 or win 7 or lose 3, you're basically, let's see, 5, 6, 7, a little over, call it 8.5+%, 8 to 9% to get 7 wins as a 50-50 player in a win 7, lose 3. So when it's win 7, lose 0, that is going to go from 8 to 9% to very, very tiny amounts. Only elite / lucky players are going to get up to that 7 mark, which is what makes it so great. From a game design standpoint, and from a appealing gambling, it's not gambling because it's Magic, and I don't think Magic is gambling. But from a take some risk standpoint, it can look like, oh, I'm only risking 2,000 for this chance at this 5,030 packs. How hard could it be, right? And then
that's crazy. I mean, that's like paying out 20 to 1.
Right, and so it's like, but it turns out it's really hard. It turns out it's really hard. All right.
So
Any
anyway,
final thoughts?
well, as you know, I would stay away from red. I'd make sure that I can crush red out of my sideboard. Your easiest bet is probably going to be to take one of the Esper controls. I'd probably go Esper control because it's also edged against Esper hero that seems number 2. If you want to go rogue, try for a Bolus variant. Again, making sure your sideboard is strong. So there's your final thoughts.
Thank you very much.
No worries. I will catch y'all later. Have a great week, everybody.
All right, we'll see you next week, Jay.
Talk
Bye.
to you